Welcome back to the Todd Durkin Impact Show, the podcast dedicated to lighting you up with inspiration, motivating you to be better in all areas of your life, and igniting action inside of you so that you can ultimately create more impact in this world that so desperately needs you. On every Impact Show, we dive into mindset, health set, leadership, and something personal so that I can coach you to be the very best version of yourself. With that, it's time to dive into today's Impact Show episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Todd Durkin Impact Show. And this is episode 410, and I am so excited to join with you today and be in your ear and to have 4 quarters. That's right, 4 quarters. Why not 4 quarters, man? We are full of football right now. We had college football. Heck, we have the national championship game as this episode drops tonight. Big Notre Dame versus Ohio State tonight. And boy, oh boy, I'm not sure you saw any of those playoff games in the NFL over the weekend, but it is a great time if you're a football fan. If you're not, hey, 4 quarters is still very applicable for you. And I'm really excited about today's episode because we have 4 quarters. We got the motivation and mindset side of things. And today I want to talk about how we overcome darkness and getting a light on the mindset. Give you a quote for that. When it comes to your health set, thank you all. Thank you all for your messages on the fast that I shared last week that I'm right now in the middle of. As I record this, I'm on day 12 of the fast. And I'll give you some updates and some other great things on HEALTHSET. Leadership, man, leadership. I love leadership. Leadership today, I want to dive into more of not only being a visionary leader, but how do you lead through vision and not fear? How do you lead with vision? Whether you're on a team, you lead the team. I do believe that everyone is a leader, both professionally as well as personally. And I want to talk about that today on the leadership side. And I've got 2 deep things personally that I do want to share. Please stick around to the end of the show. I'm going to end with personal because I'm actually getting ready to head over to Florida, Orlando, Florida, specifically to see Mama Durkin. And we're going to close later on at the end of today's show with some great Mama Durkin-isms. But there's a special reason why I'm going down there. So please stick around to the end. I got some great personal shares I want to share as well. So that being said, we got some great things to dive into today. So without further ado, let's rock and roll. Today's Impact Show podcast is brought to you by the Todd Durkin Mastermind Program. My friends, I can always say, you can only go as far as you grow. Regardless of what you do for a living, whether you're a fitness professional, you're a coach, you're a trainer, you're an entrepreneur, you're an accountant, lawyer, police officer, or whatever you do to make a difference in this world. If you're looking to create even more success and more significance, and you want more juice, more energy, more clarity, more focus on how you can create that impact, the Mastermind Program is for you. I would love the opportunity to coach you, hold you accountable, and help you make the necessary moves to get to your next level in your life. Check out ToddDurkin.com today, ToddDurkin.com, and hop on a call with one of my coaches to find out if this is the right move for you. Go to ToddDurkin.com and sign up today. All right, great feedback when it comes to motivation and mindset. Here is your quote of the week, and it comes from Brené Brown. Only when you are brave enough to explore the darkness will you discover the infinite power of light. My friends, if that doesn't resonate with you or not these days, I don't know what will, because when you think about the infinite power of light, I'm going to get deep with you real quick here, because when you think about your infinite power of light, I want to remind each of you the power inside of all of us. That how many times do we forget the power, the gifts that are inside of us that are bestowed in us that you want to share with the world, but you don't, or you don't at the level that you want to. When I think about that quote, only when you are brave enough to explore the darkness, are you brave enough to explore the darkness? Are you willing to go where it's dark in your life? There are some aspects of life potentially that happened years ago or decades ago that we need to go back and clear out if we're looking to ascend to another level. How do we go and explore that darkness? And maybe that's just going in and really addressing it. Maybe it's getting a therapist or a counselor or a coach or a doctor or a psychiatrist, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be necessarily mental, but whatever that darkness is, how can we use the darkness to propel us into that next step? So I ask you, where is that darkness? Where is that darkness in you? I don't want you hanging there too long, but I do want you to address it and explore it, because once you do that, I want to make that shift into the next step, because it is that next step that many times you can use your darkness to actually perpetuate your purpose. How do you perpetuate your purpose? How do you get such a deep-seated purpose that, man, she's on fire? Man, he's on fire. When I talked to her, she was convicted. She's going on a crusade for what she believes in. Why? It may be because of the darkness that you experienced last year through a messy breakup or a financial struggle that you endured for a year, or heck, maybe you went through a bankruptcy or whatever setback it may have been. But the why, it's your deep-seated purpose is your why. You know, when you think about it, light, you know that my theme is be the light, and it's everything I'm doing is be the light. How can you and I be more of a light in this world that so desperately needs it? It's actually scripture here in the mindset and motivation side. I want to weave into the quote from Brene Brown. Why? Is because if you got a True Strength book and I happen to sign it live in person, not just because you bought it online, but if I had a chance at a live event to sign it, you probably looked at the bottom of the page, and I probably signed Matthew 5:14 through 16. Matthew 5:14 through 16 states that you are the light of the world. Let me repeat. You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light shine before men and women, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Be the light, my friends. So, Brene Brown, thank you for the message today about only when you are brave enough to explore the darkness will you discover the infinite power of light. Man, my question to you is, number one, what is the darkness that is sitting inside of you that's waiting to become light? A light that is so bright that no one can extinguish it. But the radiation that comes out of that light is going to change even more lives. So, what is that darkness that you need to explore? Only you can answer that. Only you can go there. And I don't want you to be afraid of it. I want you to go there and marinate in it, sit in it, and then use it and get out of it so that your purpose is way bigger than your past. Your purpose and what you're doing is way bigger than anything that has happened in the past. And what light are you hoping to attain? What is that light? When I say, hey, what are your dreams? What are your visions? What do you want to achieve? And maybe you want to change 1,000 lives or 10,000 lives or 1,000,000 lives or 10, like whatever the number is. What light are you hoping to attain? Maybe the light inside of you represents peace and joy and harmony and happiness, all these things inside of you. Um, yes, that is the case. And how do you eventually turn your darkness or any darkness inside of you into the light? How can you be that light? My friends, here in the Motivation Mindset quarter number 1 with this kickoff, Brene Brown, the infinite power of light is there. Keep tapping in, keep tapping in. All right, let's keep it going, baby. Good kickoff. Great start to the episode today. Quarter number 2 all on Health Set. Health Set. Health Set's all about your habits and what you're doing on a regular basis that is going to set you up for success in all of 2025 and beyond. And I shared several weeks ago that when I kick this off is that, man, I want to make sure that 2025 is your year, that you stay committed to your habits that you've set forth in your annual strategic plan. And I'll be reminding you periodically about that. But in the Health Set section, anything that's on the mind on what you can do, I want to make sure that I can remind you of that. Now, I shared earlier as I record this, I'm on day 12 of the fast, and I want to just touch upon that before giving some additional health set different parameters. But it's important I share that with you because um, number one, well, on day 12 of a 21-day fast, I want to explain what this fast is because several of you asked via my Instagram, hey, tell me more about that fast. What are you doing? Number one, I'm not condoning that anyone do the fast that I'm doing, but maybe you can fast something out of your life. It doesn't need to be food, right? It could be anything. It could be, it could be social media. It could be a certain person in your life that is not feeding you the life that you need. It could be any bad habits that you may have. But for me, my fast, which I chose to do, the first 10 days for me was fruits and veggies only. A lot of water and only fruits and vegetables. Not easy because I don't typically eat enough fruits and vegetables in a day, let alone a week. And all I ate was fruits and vegetables. I've never eaten more fruits and vegetables in a 10-day period in my life. And let me tell you what, that will clear you out and detoxify anything, any darkness that's sitting in your life. And where I'm at right now, I'm in a 5-day period of no food. It's water or tea, and I'm just going into day 3. I'm on day 12 now as I record this, and people keep saying, "Well, how you feeling?" And I feel very, very balanced, very um, at peace with everything. And you got to think about this when you're doing just water or just even fruits and vegetables, zero caffeine, no coffee, no caffeine. Which that right there for me, you could probably hear a different voice, right? My voice is different. Not that I'm not as amped up and jacked up about everything that I'm doing. It's just a much more serene Todd that you're getting today on the episode because I'm in the middle of a very challenging time through the fast. But that being said, spiritually speaking, it's one where you don't rely on food, but you're relying on your relationship with Jesus or whatever fast you're doing, depending on what you're searching and seeking for. I share with you my reason for doing this is to go deeper in my walk with God. And then the last 6 days, or so is all fruits and veggies again. So it starts, if you think of it in 7-7-7, you could do that, but I'm doing 10-5-6 on how that works. But the last 6 days in fruits is fruits and vegetables only. And the reason why I'm doing 5 days of water or tea is because I spoke on stage at Christian high school just a couple days ago, and I didn't want to go into a big speaking event for 1,200 students preaching the word and everything else completely on empty with my energy tank. So it was fruits and veggies up until a couple days ago. And then now here we are. And I'm in the middle of the hardest part. It's crazy kind of what happens, but there's a few reasons why I'm doing this. And let me share them with you today. Number one, it's a reset. It is a reset. And the reset is this. I'm not sure about you, but the holidays destroyed me. Like I was ravenous. I don't know where all the food came from, but there was food everywhere around the Durkin household. And I wish y'all could have come to the Durkins and eaten my food because someone ate the food. And well, you're probably looking or listening right now to the man who ate a lot of that food that just happened to be around. So I blame my wife, Melanie. Yes, she is the culprit for bringing that food around or making that food. You probably should be blaming me. But I could definitely afford to do a fast when it comes to where I'm at right now. But that's not really the reason why that I'm doing the fast. Really, the reason why I'm doing that fast is more than physical. It's the spiritual side of things. And um, I'm not sure where you are in your own walk, regardless of what your beliefs are. But I know in the fast alone, I've deepened my prayer life. I've spent more time journaling. I've spent time on my knees praying, and I don't spend enough time on my knees praying. I need more of that. I didn't always do that. I have done more of that, and now I'm doing it daily. And boy, is it good to just get down and surrender. and surrender and say, man, dear God, whatever your plan is for me, I'm here to serve. I'm here to share, whether it's on a podcast episode today with the most serene, peaceful, joyful, mellow Todd you've ever probably met. But I got to tell you, it's such a sense of peace as I share with you today with where I'm at. And I'm asking myself my question I keep coming back to, and I ask you, but, I'm asking God, how can I serve you even more? How can I be more obedient? What can I do to be a better disciple and leader? How can me, Todd, be a better disciple and leader to help people navigate these challenging, stressful times that we live in? How could I be an even better coach and mentor? I had the great opportunity this morning, right before Luke went back to college, to train my son Luke today as he goes into his last semester in college, and also to be paired up with Justin Courtney, a professional baseball player. And then I had my man Drew Brees in, and to share with them and share a workout with them. It's not easy working out on an empty tank. Literally, it's not what I normally would recommend. But how could I be an even better coach and mentor? And I just got a special text from DB just sharing, man, that was awesome today. Thanks for the energy that you brought. And meanwhile, I'm like, man, the energy I brought, I didn't bring the heat, but I brought a different energy. So don't always think that you have to come with the crazy energy that sometimes you come with, like myself, to make the impact that you want to make. And then how can I grow deeper in my own faith? And my question I keep asking myself is, what does God want me to do? What does God want me to do? What I've learned is God will never leave you for despair. He'll never leave you where you don't make it. There's always angels that appear, and I want you to know that wherever you are now, in the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, you got brothers and sisters all around you lifting you up. So keep leaning in. So my coaching question I have in this side here today, I ask you is, um, how can you go even deeper on your physical or your spiritual journey? Maybe it's your physical journey where you're at. Maybe it's your spiritual journey and where you're at. And where are you willing to ratchet it up a little bit? What are you willing to do to ratchet up and get that to the next level? Maybe it's food, maybe it's exercise, maybe it's your spiritual walk, whatever it is. And your action step is, please answer the question, when are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? I mean, that's the bottom line, is take action for the goals, whether it be 7-day goals, 21-day goals, 30-day goals, 90-day goals, 365-day goals, whatever they are, is let's make these New Year's resolutions and not do them, but really have the discipline to do what you say you do. And that's an important aspect with that. And the second aspect I want to share, again, thank you for all the questions. The reason why I share that here on the health set and the fast is because obviously not everyone is fasting now, obviously, but the discipline of fasting is the same discipline that we need to show up with on a regular basis. And which brings me to my second point, is I want to remind you of the power of movement. That movement doesn't always have to be long. A 10-minute gratitude walk goes a long way. Walking on the block with a Jersey dog for 10, 15 minutes, it brings just a sense of peace about getting fresh air, moving your body. That alone is very powerful and will release endorphins in your brain that allow you to think bigger and even be more clear and focused on your day at hand. I also want to reemphasize the power of prayer and gratitude. When you sit down and you write literally in that journal, and you pray for what your wishes are and what your prayers are, it's extremely powerful. And of course, the power of habit, whatever habit you want to either add or delete from your life, the power is within you. The power is within you to change that. And if you want to change that, the power is within you. And I want us to understand here that all of these are choices, the choices to do what is necessary to get you to where you want to go. Please start your days with gratitude and prayer. Please start those days with recommitting and committing to the habits that you're going to live by and abide by today, and then move your body. Even though today I had a great workout in with the boys in here with an empty tank, literally. Think about the power of movement for you, and what are you going to do this week between now and when the podcast drops next week again? What are you going to do in this 7-day period to get better? I'm always searching for that next step, that next level, and I hope you are as well. But what can you do to own it now? To live in the power of now, living with that intentionality now. How can I be a better husband, a better father, a better coach, all of these things. And for me, that's the mindset tip of the day is do the things that are necessary to help you get you to where you want to go. So that right there is your health set and mindset tip combined so that, hey, if you're combining your health set and your mindset, man, you are going to be one powerful human being that can achieve anything. That's why I started with mindset. And quarter number two was all on health set. Do what you got to do. But when you combine health set and mindset, man, look out, world. Here we come. All right, welcome back to quarter number three, leadership. And we're going to switch the flip right now. We're going to flip it. And we're going to talk a little about your career, a little about your business and your vision. Why? Is because today's message on leadership and where you're at with the leadership, I want to challenge you to think about leadership and what you're doing to lead other people, personally or professionally. And today, specifically, leading through vision and not fear. How do you lead through vision and not fear? Right? We want to make sure, and how can I encourage you to set a clear vision for your business or your team? Or if you're on a team, how can you be part of a mission and vision that is designed to change your company, your industry, your customers, your clients, your members, your city, your jurisdiction, your province, your state, your country, so that rather than reacting to challenges with anxiety or short-term fixes, we can look at vision. See, many times, and I just got done with a coaching session after the fitness sessions I was coaching, I had a 90-minute life coaching session. And this area I want to share today is exactly what this very successful, high-level entrepreneur wants to do. Too much time in the weeds doing things that he could hire a $24 an hour job doing some of the weed work while he's focusing on some more meaningful level 2 tasks. These are important tasks, not urgent tasks, right? So all of us have to deal with our 4 different quadrants of the day. Quadrant 2 are the things that we do that are most important, the needle movers, if you will. So if you're living in fear, here's what's going to happen. And I've got 5 things down that fear will do. Fear is going to stifle growth. Does anyone want to stifle growth? Anyone? Anyone? No, because there is no one in our ecosystem, in this community that's listening in, that wants to stifle growth. Fear will do that. Number 2, fear will have people playing scared and tight. I don't want you playing tight. We need to play loose. We need to be immersed so that the movement is just like a dance, like a flow. It's no different in business. It's getting that flow. And we don't want to be living and working and operating in fear. So fear is going to have people playing scared and tight. Not a good thing. It also, in number 3, fear will cause anxiety and beget more fear. Fear will create more anxiety and cause anxiety and beget more fear. Now, have you ever had any anxiety? It's not a good feeling. And if you haven't, I know everyone has at least experienced angst. You have angst because it's a Sunday night going into Monday and you got a big Monday or a busy week. You get a little angst. Well, how do we reduce that angst? And how do we reduce any anxiety because of built up angst? Because built up angst, which leads to anxiety, can beget more fear because you start fearing the things that aren't even real. Is it false evidence appearing real? Is it false evidence appearing real? Or is it face everything and rise? Fear, the acronym face everything and rise, is much better than, hey, false evidence appearing real, because you start worrying about all of the things that are robbing you of being your best self. And how many times do you hear, like, do not worry? Well, it's easy. Hey, don't worry. There's scripture verse on don't worry. There's countless books on don't worry. But I like to combat worry with the exact opposite of worry and fear, and focusing more on gratitude, love, abundance, manifestation, on these things that, hey, if you have fear in you, well, the opposite of fear is love. So how do we fall and do more of the things that we love to do? Number four, fear will not allow for your maximum growth. So I do believe that a certain amount of fear in your life can be healthy to promote growth, because being a little scared is good sometimes to get your tail back on track. Because listen, maybe life is pretty good. Maybe you are doing well financially. Awesome. Congratulations. Enjoy it. Please enjoy that. But what if it's to the point where you're not really fully living full tilt out because you're like, man, I don't have to do this. I would like to, I want to, but do you have to? Think about when you started your business or you started your career and how hungry you were and what you would do. Have you fallen into the trap of not having that same hunger that you had in the beginning? That's not a good thing. So when you find a deep-seated purpose that's going to drive you to look forward and not rest on your own laurels, well, that's going to allow for maximum growth. And fear can kill your maximum growth. And lastly, fear will paralyze you. Fear will paralyze you. Have you ever been in a situation in your life that has actually paralyzed you? And maybe not literally, but maybe figuratively it has. Maybe you've gone through a significant loss. Maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a loved one, maybe it's a spouse, or heck, even a son or daughter. And God bless y'all who've been through significant losses as well. But when you think about fear will paralyze you, what I want to make sure is that you do not live in fear, but you live so that the fear may become fuel to propel your greatest goals and dreams to come to fruition. And that is why when we look at the leadership is I want to make sure that we live in vision. Leading through vision, not fear. So I started with fear because when we talk about vision, I ask you this question. What are your one or two biggest projects or goals that you need to achieve this quarter? As I record this quarter one of 2025, what is it that you need to achieve right now? And focus like mad on those one or two things that you want to do. Otherwise, what happens? You get overwhelmed with anxiety. Heck, you just get overwhelmed with everything of busyness, and you end up doing nothing because you're so busy doing everything. So, how do you maintain steady progress? I do want to share an exercise. I've shared it before, and I've shared it in a lot of my coaching programs and sessions. But it's one thing to share it; it's another thing to do it. And I make my coaching sessions like this is mandatory. If they're not doing it, you can't expect change to happen. But if you do these things, I learned this many, many moons ago. It's called the 90-day wonder. The 90-day wonder. I give homage to my man, Wayne Cotton, who taught me this many moons ago. Now, maybe you heard me talk about it, but I want to ask you the question, are you doing it every quarter? Are you doing it every quarter where you sit down for an hour and a half and you do your 90-day wonder? And the 90-day wonder is this. What have you accomplished in the last 90 days? What are your current obstacles, challenges, and issues that you're currently facing? So, what are those current obstacles, issues, and challenges that you face? And what are going to be the things that you're going to achieve in this next 90 days, this next quarter that you now face? If you did that on the first of every month, along with your 10 forms of wealth in 3 and 30, I do my 90-day wonder, 10 forms of wealth in 3 and 30 on the first of every month. And if you spend 2 hours of time, that's called blue sky time. Blue sky time is strategy time, strategic time. As it's said so many times, are you working on your business or on your career, or are you working just in your business or just in your career? You got to work on your life and on when you're strategizing about that. So the 90-day wonder, those 3 questions are absolutely essential when it comes to your 90-day wonder. And again, thank you, Wayne Cotton, because for the last 2 decades, guys, gals, this is what I've been doing. Are you going to always achieve them? No. Many times the second question is where I get 2-3 pages of all my issues I have to deal with. And like, man, I can't deal with all the issues and adversities and challenges I have to. But you can certainly prioritize them, put them on paper. Don't just have them in your head. We have too many things going on in our head between all of the duties that you have for your parenting, uh, for your any philanthropic events, for your business, how you want to generate more revenue in your business, for ideas that you have. When you get it on paper, it's almost cathartic when you get it down on paper, and all of a sudden you prioritize and say these 3, 4, 5, 7 things that you do, and then you get it down to 1 or 2 must dos, and you focus the majority of your time on those things that only you can do. Watch how your world changes. And a special example of that, I'm going to give a shout out, a very special man. His name is Gus Cheliotis, Costas Cheliotis. I've mentioned him before, but he's a gentleman who I've been coaching now for over a decade. He's extremely successful. If you have not listened to episode 226, 226, listen to episode 226. I'll put that in the show notes as well. But I give kudos to Gus because not only has he learned to do it himself, and he's extremely maniacally disciplined to do that, Gus has been leading his team. And he's got a very big team of people who help him in his world. He's in the financial services world, but he's taken the principles that I have shared with the people whom I coach into the financial services world, and he does them both personally and professionally without fail. By the way, without fail, he does this. And the amount of success that they have had over the last 5 to 7 years is unrecognizable. It's incredible. And pretty soon you'll be reading about him in the Wall Street Journal on what his company is doing. But man, this guy is extreme disciplined at doing the things that are necessary, like the 90-day wonder. It's one thing to hear it, it's another thing to do it. So what is it? And besides Gus, a lot of my good friends and folks who I work with and coach do these exercises. But I also think these are visionaries. These are leaders. And if you're a visionary, like when I talk about here in number 3 is, your vision and what you're going to do, to be led by vision and not by fear. I think of even other icons, the Walt Disneys of the world, a visionary, Steve Jobs, a visionary, and Elon Musk, a visionary. I mean, how many visionaries can you think of? There's a ton. As a matter of fact, feel free to, you probably know 5 visionaries personally in your own life that you work with in some way, shape, form, or other, and you may be a visionary as well. But if you get caught in the weeds of always doing all of the mundane, then you can't live in that space to operate as a visionary. And that's an important aspect. Why? Because when you're doing visionary work, this actually boosts morale. It excites you. It gets your dreams going, right? And it gives you specific direction where either your company is headed or your career is headed. If you don't own the company, it may be where your career is headed. And it drives growth. It drives growth. So being and living in that vision, it boosts the morale. It gives you that mindset of where you're headed, and it drives the growth. So why do you always think I'm so excited? Like, guys, you got to be in the room for this live event. Be in the room. Be in the room. And while I can't give you dates today as this drops of our next live event, it's coming real soon, like in the next couple of weeks. Just be in the room, and that's where the magic happens. So my prompt for you here is this. What's the main vision that you want for your team? What is it? What is it you want for your team? What is it you want for your business? Heck, maybe it's for your family. Maybe your time and energy right now is allocate to your family, and there's nothing wrong with having a visionary statement for your family and personal life as well as your business. Right? So have that visionary statement just even around this quarter, these next 90 days in Q1 here. So my action step for you is this. Can you please write a concise visionary statement and share it with at least one person in your cohort who will make this and take you accountable for what you put down on paper. Maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's a coach, maybe it's a mentor. Heck, maybe it's me. Maybe you want to DM me or text me over on my community text. I'll put that in the show notes as well. Please be on that text message so we can get some great content out to you. But write the concise vision statement and live it. Print it out. Put it next to your computer and see it. Because when I say boost morale, who else needs a morale boost? Anyone? Anyone else need an energy boost? Hey, TD, I need a little energy boost. Yeah. make sure we're real clear with where we're going, or at least your vision of where you want to go, because some people have a cloudy vision of that, and that's okay. But when you have a dream, your dream should ignite you and energize you to help you get you to where you want to go. So let's make sure that we're led by vision and not by fear. Today's episode is brought to you by eCore Athletic. My friends, do you know what one of the most important investments that you can make in your gym is? Yep, the flooring. No one ever thinks of the flooring and how important it is until you don't have the right flooring. If you want to make a great investment in your gym, start with your flooring. And I want to give a huge shout out to my friends at eCore Flooring. Why? Well, because they have outfitted all of our Impact X performance facilities as we grow them out nationwide. My friends, when it comes to eCore, I can think of three things. Number one, it is an exceptional product. Why? Because not only do they have great choices, they have many different choices throughout your facility, whether it be in your Group X room, whether it be your strength and conditioning, your community room, your recovery room. eCore has great product and a lot of choices. Sustainability is at the core. Yep, sustainability is at the core of everything that eCore does. And lastly, performance. It's all about performance. I can't tell you, I've already heard how many people have said, man, I love getting down and doing push-ups and modified push-ups on the floor. It's soft, it's comfortable, and it's great shock absorption. My friend, check out eCore Athletic. That's at ecoreathletic.com. That's where you can get all the information. Or if you're on social media, check out eCore Athletic. My friends, thank you over at eCore. Man, 3 quarters is complete, and here we are in the 4th quarter. Can I hear it, please? 4! That's right, my friends, and perhaps the 4th quarter is always the most important quarter, and that's why I'm saving this one the last. So thank you for sticking around here in the 4th quarter, because I've got several things I want to share with you today, and it all stems around my quote here is, "Don't be afraid your life will end. You should be more afraid that it will never begin." Whoo! You want me to repeat that? Yeah, I bet you do. Don't be afraid your life will end. You should be more afraid that it will never begin. I share that quote with you today because as this podcast drops on Monday, January 20th, I'm a day away tomorrow from getting on a plane and heading to Orlando, Florida to see Mama Durkin. And I've shared with everyone since day one, episode 1, that I'm always going to be real and transparent and authentic. And we have developed one heck of a community. And you are part of that community for listening. And I say thank you. I don't know everyone. So thank you for when you do reach out. And I listen to every word that's said. And when I said it's oxygen to my soul, I love reading and hearing from you all. But my mom's health is rapidly deteriorating. She's 91 years old. And I'm not sure how long she's going to last. As a matter of fact, as I record this several days before the 20th, I'm not even sure I'm going to get to see Mom. I sure hope I am, but I'm not sure how long Mom's going to last. And I know it's not going to be that much longer, whether that be days, weeks, hopefully months. I'm not sure. So the only thing I wanted to ask you for today is prayers. Is prayers. That's it. And my personal today is prayers. And my prayers are for Mom, but you know, Mom's lived a great life. She's 91 years old, and she's going to heaven. She's a believer, and she's raised 8 great kids. And I can't wait to get to see Mom next week. If you could just pray for Mom, that would be awesome. I'm going to end out today's episode with a little Mama Durkin that we recorded a few years ago because honestly, truth be told, I don't know if you've ever been in this situation, but for the past 3 years, every time I see my mom, I give her an extra squeeze. I hold her a little bit longer. I look in her eyes a little bit longer. And I'm always like, is this my last time I'm going to see her? Is this it? So I prepared myself, and I know my brothers and sisters have as well, but we always want to hold on to the people we love the longest, right? And we want to hold on to them. So my action step for you is whoever's in your life today that you need to make sure that you hug a little bit longer. Maybe it's a son or it's a daughter. Maybe it's your spouse. Maybe it's your mom or your dad. It's just a reminder here from TD is to love on those who you love a little bit longer today. And that's my hope and the first thing I wanted to share. The second thing comes back to um, all the way when I started here in quote number one in today's episode. What was quote number one all about? It was only when you're brave enough to explore the darkness will you discover the infinite power of light. Well, um, there's something going on up in Los Angeles right now that is causing a lot of darkness and needs a lot of light. The fires in Los Angeles are absolutely decimating a lot of people, a lot of homes, structures, spirits. Um, and if there's ever a time that the mind right maniacs come out, the impact makers and the impact creators come out, it's now. So I just want to give you a few heads up with an interesting um, brewing of many things all at once for me personally. As I'm in the middle of the fast, I'm in a very deep place spiritually. Mom's in a very interesting space of transition to heaven. And here we are trying to get ready to serve those who need serving the most right now. I look at some of the statistics up there in Los Angeles, and I believe it's now about, last I checked, about 12,000 plus structures have burned. 150,000 people have been displaced. That's more people than fit in the Rose Bowl by itself. 150,000 people have been displaced. That means they have no longer homes or places to go back to. There's been over 40,000 acres burned. Frankly, I didn't even know that Los Angeles had 40,000 acres in it. Like, you think of, if Los Angeles is a lot of structures, over 40,000 of acres in the surrounding Los Angeles area have burned. 27 people have died, and far more animals have died as well. So I think about only when you are brave enough to explore the darkness, we discover the infinite power of light. And it brings me back to every time there's a time of darkness, what can we do? What can we do as a community? I do believe that this is when we serve. This is when we best serve, is when it's dark out, when there's people who are losing hope or even have lost hope. How do we step up? When times are down or depressing, how can we step up? How can you and I be more of a light? This is when the angels appear. This is when people just happen to appear when most needed. Have you ever had an angel appear in your world? Like when you most are down and out, someone gives you a voice of encouragement and lifts you up and speaks life into you. Now, there's many ways that we can serve. There's many things that we can do. And I'm calling upon all of you, each and every one of you listening in, of what can we do. And I've been working on an activation plan. I'm going to share it with you. It's not completely baked out, but it's pretty far down the road because it's going to start up in February. But I believe there's several ways that we can help as an impact community. And we've got a lot of people inside of our impact community, but each and every one of those people is important. So if you're listening to this now, you're part of our community. Number one is this: if you know of anyone who's done an extraordinary job helping out with all of the causes and doing miraculous things up there, if you know them, can you please DM me or email me that person's name? I want to spotlight some heroes, and I've heard some amazing stories, and I want to spotlight some of those stories in the months to come sporadically. But I've heard of some amazing things happening, and I want to spotlight those people because there are some true angels up there. It's amazing that sometimes it takes a disaster, a natural disaster, an act of terrorism, something for so many people to do good things. We don't need these acts to bring out the goodness or the light. But so many times that's what it takes to be the catalyst to make sure that that happens. The second thing that we're doing is very, very special. And I'm excited about this. And we're actually doing two things within this category. Number one, we're going to be raising money through the Durkin Impact Foundation, which is a nonprofit 501c3. And we're going to raise money for 10 families. 10 families we would like to raise money for who've been displaced and have lost everything. We want to identify these families through you. So Who are these families who have been displaced? Which families most need it? I'm not looking for families that have 3 or 4 homes that have burnt down in here, although they have a lot they've lost. I'm looking for families that are in true desperate straits. Maybe they didn't even have insurance on their home because their insurance policy was dropped, and now they don't have insurance, and they're living in one of these towns that have been tarnished with fire, like in Altadena or in that surrounding area, um, uh, east of the 405 and the 5, and well, there's people in need. I'll just say that. How can we identify those 10 folks and give directly back to them? If you like to nominate a family, and if you know a family through our website, please email me through our website. So if you know of a family that needs help, we're going to raise money. If we don't get any money, then we can't help the 10 families. And we're all going to pitch in, and it could be $5, it could be $50, it could be 100 or 1,000. This is a 501c3. There are many organizations helping, and I love that. I love that so many people are coming to it. I want to recognize that 100% of anything raised goes back to these people. Anyone involved in the Durkin Impact Foundation, we do not even have salaries in the Impact Foundation. So whatever gets raised, 100% that goes back. All you have to do is go over to the website, toddurkin.com/impact dash foundation, toddurkin.com/impact dash foundation. And that's going to give you all the ways that you can contribute. You can mail in a check, you can email me, tell me you want to contribute, whatever it is. And the second aspect of that, besides just donating to help out 10 families, and we're going to generate money in the months of February into early March on that, is I had a dream. I had a dream the other night that we were able to help rebuild someone's gym up there. We as a fitness community, if you're in the fitness community, everything was burnt down in many of these areas. This is the livelihood of some really important people and places. And when I think about a gym is an epicenter. A gym is a sanctuary. A gym is a lighthouse. And what I would love to do is I'd like to take the community that is in my world, in my ecosystem, and the influence I have in the fitness industry. And I want to rally the troops. And I want to rally the troops to build at least one gym back where that gym owner doesn't need to spend $1. Can we do that? Can we call all of our sponsors and vendors together right now and raise money for the gym, whichever one it is? I don't know which one it is. We're going to need you to tell us, hey, I lost the gym I was part of, and Billy or Frankie or Mary, she lost everything, and insurance ain't going to cover that. So I want to make sure that we can rebuild this gym, this sanctuary, so people can go back to the place that they can restore their routines, so they can get back to normal, so they can go out and be more light. I believe this is the spirit and the soul of us as human beings. It's times like this where we gather together and really do great deeds for other human beings. So I'm activating all of my people, each and every one of you today, to take action. And I know we're going to have people coming out, my vendors with flooring, with all the great equipment companies I work with, that we, between donations and raise money, can raise money also for 10 families, as well as put in the sanctuary back into place. And if nothing is built around that, we got a gym that people can go to and get their bodies right, their minds right, and their souls right as well. And I can't wait till that ribbon cutting ceremony, because I know how important a gym is. In 2003 and 2007, when here, the town that I'm in Scripps Ranch, San Diego, California, we had 2 massive fires with over 500 structures burned. Fitness Quest 10, after 1 week of being shut down, opened up, and those people who lost their homes came in and trained because they said, I'll quote, Todd, we just need to get our routines back because we've lost everything. I heard that in 2003. I heard that in 2007, and I hear it loud and clear in 2025. Operation Impact Rebuild LA is on its way. Operation Impact Rebuild LA is on its way, and it's because of our people all over the country, all over the world, who are going to contribute to the Impact Foundation, that we will take 100% of that and give it back to build gyms, to build these 10 people their homes back. And that is my plea. That is my encouragement. And whether that's $5, $50, 500, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, $1 million, whatever it is, you can bet that every single penny, 100% of that money is going to go back to help those people who so desperately need it right now. That's the second aspect. And I'm in major philanthropic mode right now. So I'm going to end with this. That's not all we're going to do, is Operation Impact Rebuild LA. I've got one more thing that's exciting as well, is I had another idea, and we're going to do this, is I have a speakers course that's just wrapping up. And these speakers have been doing an amazing job. It's the second cohort of speakers, and we had an internal virtual summit in course number one. And I had the idea several weeks ago, is that we're going to do a virtual speakers summit for all of you. Everyone who's listening into our Impact Show podcast will have access to this virtual summit. But there's one catch to this. We're gonna do a virtual summit in March. It's gonna raise money for the Impact Foundation. Yep, it's free, but you've got to donate something to the Impact Foundation to hear one or any of all of the talks that will be going out. These talks are going to be going out. As long as you give $1, $5, $50, whatever, 100% of that money is going to be going back. And that really motivates me. And furthermore, I'll say this, and this is exciting. I just got news this morning. When I was with Drew Brees, I asked Drew to be part of this virtual summit, the speakers summit. And Drew is going to come on live during this summit, or we'll record it, but he is going to come on live, and he and I are going to do a 30+ minute talk on all things personal, and even what some of the things that he's doing through his Breeze Dream Foundation is doing to help all of the victims with that are facing up in Los Angeles. So Drew's going to come on to the Impact Summit speakers course, the virtual summit, and we're going to raise a bunch of money. And I hope that between all of the speakers who are in our virtual summit, and then some of the other folks who I'm inviting in, like Drew, who typically commands a very large speaker's fee, this would be your opportunity, my friends. If you want to partake in that, trust me, for $5, I should make it a minimum like 50, but it's whatever you want. I just want to raise money. I'm going to let the good Lord do his thing. Is if you'd like to be part of that, you'd like to hear messages from guys like Drew, it's going to be all accessible. I'll give you the date. Stay tuned. Make sure you're signed up for my text community so I can remind you of that. But we have count them, 3 different ways that you can participate. More than that, really, but you can just donate now to the foundation. Literally, like today, you could do that as you listen in. We have multiple different programs going on, including rebuilding 10 people's homes in LA. We have Operation Los Angeles, Operation Impact Rebuild LA. We're going to rebuild a gym in Los Angeles. This is the vision. This is the vision. That's why all leadership through vision, not fear. Leadership through vision, not fear. This is the vision. It's going to take each and every one of us to make sure it comes to fruition. And then, of course, the virtual summit, instead of just doing it internally or just for people in my community, we're going to do it globally. And my ask is that you share it. When that you see the information on it, you share it with your community on Facebook, on Instagram. Please spread the gospel so other people can then come in and get great value and then donate any amount of money that they feel they can donate. And all of that is going back. So my friends, that is the message for today. And I'm really excited. The recap is this. When it comes to mindset, how are you going to explore your darkness to discover your light? And that's what all this was today about, is discovering your light, your maximum light, so that we you and I can radiate out into this time that so desperately needs us now. On the HealthSet side, I talked about the fasting and what I'm doing, so thank you, but also some of the habits that you want to think about, what you can do physically, mentally, or even spiritually with your own habits to uptick and up level your health as well. And leadership right now is leadership through vision, not through fear. Leadership through vision and not fear. It's what I'm doing right now with the vision for Operation Impact Rebuild LA. It's what you are doing with your business or your career and your life. And then lastly, on the personal side, again, I want to thank you for all of your consideration for any donation that you may consider making this week as you listen to this between now and early March, between now, January 20th through early March, all of February and March. Today is the day. If you'd like to make a donation, hop over to toddurkin.com/impact-foundation and make that donation. I can promise you and assure you this, that we are so excited to give that money back to those who need it more than us. And lastly, again, please pray for Mama Durkin. Pray for her and for her spirit and her soul and her peace and her joy and her happiness. I can't wait to get down there here next week as I record this, and tomorrow if you're listening on the day it drops on the 20th, so I can hold Mama Durkin's hand one more time again and just say, Mama, I love you. So without further ado, let's listen to a word from Mama Durkin right now. She's going to close out this episode right now. From a previous episode, I captured her voice, and I want you to listen to that right now. Until next time, remember, my friends, please continue to train hard, eat right. If you're eating, eat right. Train hard, eat right, live inspired, and please go create impact today. God bless y'all.
Since he was a young boy, he would be doing something special. And I tell him to this day, though, you better behave yourself, or I'm going to chase you around the table again and crack another wooden spoon over your backside. It was easier for him to get away from me, but I really never hurt him that bad. Seriously, I'm proud of him and love listening to every podcast episode. Keep creating impact, Todd.